Georgia Bird spent her life
Morning, Miss Bird.
Mr. Williams?
dreaming of possibilities.
I suggest you get with the program, Miss Bird. Yeah.
You're just scared of some man getting a hold of that booty of yours.
Until the day
I was wondering sometime if you're free.
I'll get it.
fate
This can't be right.
changed everything.
I got 3 weeks to live? I feel great. I just finished a fat flush. Remember you said life was too short to live the way I do? You see, Mr. Damien. Excuse, would you mind?
Yeah.
I quit.
I'm sure a disciplined woman such as yourself has a very useful purpose for this money.
I'm just gonna blow it.
Welcome to Grand Hotel Poop.
Y'all really say it like that? Poop, poop, poop.
I know that you will find our presidential suite most comfortable.
Did I just give you a ridiculously large tip?
Yes.
Mine.
Are you all right, Madam Bell?
Yeah. I just love these sheets. I was just taking them for a little ride around the block. Yeah. Make me international.
I haven't seen Georgia around for a couple of days. Have you seen her?
Give my money.
Hello, sister. Who the hell is she?
Mademoiselle Bird, very rich.
Ooh, look at that. Will he have the same specials tomorrow night?
No.
I guess I better try them all tonight then.
Toot?
Oh, no. Toot, baby. Toot sweet.
From Paramount Pictures,
Ooh, I've been waiting my whole life to do something like this.
you're invited
Slow down!
on a holiday
I got a gut feeling about that woman. She's trouble.
fit for a queen.
I'm going base jumping tomorrow, bye.
Sean, what are you doing here?
Queen Latifah,
Next time, we will laugh more, we'll love more. We just won't be so afraid.
last holiday.
Wait, I gotta use the bathroom.
Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and the secret of life is butter. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margot D. Hello, my friend.
Who you calling a bitch? That's my Queen Latifah
Really good.
impersonation.
We are dorking out about 2006's Last Holiday. It's directed by Wayne Wang, who did Joy Luck Club. I bet you've done that on Book versus Movie.
We have.
Yeah, so
It's
good.
one of my faves.
It's based on a book called Last Holiday as well. And then
What?
an old movie. I know it's based on an old movie.
I did not know this, Sonia. You did your research.
Is it a book? Oh no, it's just a movie. I'm sorry. It's a movie from 1950 starring Alec Guinness.
Sir Alec Guinness.
Sir Alec Guinness. But this one stars Queen Latifah. Beautiful. LL Cool J.
Beautiful.
Adorable. Like
Ugh.
so
Everyone's
hunky.
so goddamn adorable. Like, just get ready to chug.
Yeah, get ready to
Do some
chug.
shots.
Timothy Hutton, Giancarlo Esposito, Alicia Witt. She looks beautiful in this movie too.
I love all these people.
All these people. Oh, and Gerard Depardieu's in there too.
Let's just ignore that creepy asshole.
We even get Emerald in there. Bam.
Bam!
This is one of our like holiday picks. I already know the answer, but I'm going to ask anyway. Did you see this in the theater?
No, I didn't know about this movie until you told me about it. And then we were going to do Last Christmas. You told me Last Christmas. So I'm like, okay, so I did promos for it.
Yes.
And then you're
Oops.
like, oops. And I'm like, all right, I'll put it on. Well, who's the other person? Was that the guy that was in Flashdance? The boyfriend in Flashdance?
Yes.
Ah,
Where's his name? Michael Nuri.
Michael Nuri. Man, aging like fine wine
Yes.
there.
Yes.
Oy, oy, oy. Anyway, yeah, I found it. And then you said, did you like it? And I'm like, Sonia, and this is me telling you now.
Yeah.
This is like mannequin level for me. It's one of the best movies we've ever covered. I am so
This
completely delighted by this film.
this makes me so happy. If you haven't seen this movie, which by the way, I haven't seen it in the theater either. The only reason I saw this movie, and I'm not making this up, my therapist recommended it to me.
Oh,
and here's why, like, your girl has gone through some trauma. I've dealt with some shit. And my therapist knows that, like, I love movies and I watch movies all the time and I have this podcast and all of that. And she asked me, she's like, I have a recommendation for you. And she's like, have you seen Last Holiday? And I was like, I have not. And she's like, I feel like you would love this movie the most. She's like, I think you would take something from it that could be really helpful for you. And I was like, okay. And I saw it and I sobbed the first time I saw it. And now I watch it. I always watch it around the holidays, but it's also a bit of a comfort movie. And sometimes I watch it in the summer. Sometimes I watch it in the spring to remind me to not wait too long.
yeah.
You know, don't wait for someday to do the things you want to do. So Roger Ebert described this movie. He said, Last Holiday plays like a hug. And I thought it's a perfect description of this movie. And if you haven't seen it, here's like the high level version is Queen Latifah is this woman named Georgia. She works at a department store. She's got a crush on LL Cool J, who works in... Who wouldn't? He's still so got handsome.
He could have this.
He could have. Want it? He could have all of this. All of this. Margot would be going back to Cali. Like, she's into it.
Oh, I think so. Mama said knock you out. Remember he did the unplugged version and his tits had those little deodorant things hanging from it? Crystal. Yes.
He's still, like, again, so hot. Actually, now I'm going to go back and watch the unplugged.
You have to. Just to look at his armpits.
Yes. So she has a crush on him. They work in the store. She's their best employee. She works in cookware. She, does a little cooking demonstration. She's a fabulous cook. And while she's chatting with LL Cool J, she, like, hits her head. And, of course, because this is one of those weird department stores, they also have, like, a medical center there at the department store, which in 2006... is comical to me, but now seems perfectly normal because you could go to like Target and there's like almost like a first aid area in Target now where you can go and get like emergency medical services. Anyway, she hits her head. They do a CT scan and they find these lesions, and the doctor there tells her that she has like 3 or 4 weeks to live. So her whole life, she's like been waiting for someday. She clips a lot of coupons. She saves all of her money. She cooks these beautiful meals, like watches like Emerald and like cooks along and makes these beautiful meals and like feeds her neighbor kid and his grandfather. But she doesn't even eat it. She like makes a lean cuisine because she's like worried about her weight. And
all the feels here. Oh my God.
All the feels. She has a book that she calls her possibilities book. It's basically like a vision board, and it's all the things she like wants to eat and the trips she wants to take, the life she wants, but she's too afraid to go for it. And when she gets this diagnosis, she decides like someday is now, and she heads off on this trip to, I guess it's in the Czech Republic, this place. I don't even know if they say where. Oh, no, they do, because there's a whole thing about. Okay. So she goes. And from then on, the movie is like, I just fucking love this movie. Like, even just the thing of her, like, on the airplane. Like, she's on the airplane. Right. And this guy is like trying to like this huge man. He's trying to like move. And I mean huge, like as in he's like really big and tall. And he's trying to like move his seat back into her, and she's like pushing back, and she's just tired of being quiet, she
wants to take up space. She's tired of like trying to disappear, and so she says, well, how much is it up there in first class? And the next scene, she's in first class and she's got like a whole turkey and there's like a whole champagne set up. And you're like, oh, good for you. Just get it.
And as someone who recently flew first class, because I'm a total baller, it is lovely up there.
Yeah.
It is the only way to fly.
Yeah.
It's really great. I actually skipped over a lot. I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have jumped so far ahead because there is a lot of stuff in the department store scenes that are funny and touching as well. Like all of her stuff with her boss is like a total shithead who treats her like crap. And when she tells him, I'm going to quit, he's like, I'll give you 50 more cents an hour. Like, he's such an asshole to her. You know, I'll give you more. I'll give you $1 more. She quits. She walks out. Like, LL Cool J's character, like, he asks her out. It's adorable. And she, at this point, she thinks she's going to die. So she's like, I won't be here a couple weeks. You know, she doesn't tell him, like, I'm not going to be here a couple weeks from now. She just tells him she can't make it. It's very sad because he's so sweet on her and she's so sweet on him. And there's also a scene where she gets a second opinion from another doctor, but they use the same scans from the CT scan from the department store. She goes to visit like the HMO administrator that she is told that they won't cover the surgery, which is so fucking American.
Yeah.
You know, the cost comes to like $340,000 without anesthesia. And the woman's like, you'll want that. Like, America's the worst.
Oh my God.
It's the worst, you know, and she says like, you wait and wait for something big to happen. And then you find out you're going to die. And it seems like I know like it might seem like such a throwaway line, but to me, it's the reason this movie was recommended to me. Like, it was like, Don't wait for things. Like, do those things. The movie, I'm sorry, I don't want to get all choked up, but the movie is saying something really big. And it does it in such a sweet, like, entertaining way. And Queen Latifah is such a fucking delight in this movie.
She's a movie star. She's just a star. She's just somebody you root for as soon as you see her.
Yes.
And yeah, when she blossoms on her trip.
Yes.
And she decides to, you know, glam up and just have some fun. And so you're going to have to tell me, because how many times have you seen this movie?
I'm probably up to like 10.
Okay, because I've only done it once. So
yes.
So you're going to have to explain to me like the circumstances, like how she meets with these people.
Yes.
Are they in Praha?
They're in the Czech Republic in a city called Karlovari. I don't know if I pronounced that right. You know, I suck at those things. She gets there and these are total coincidences. These are things that only happen in the movies. She decides like on the way there, like she's bumping up everything on this trip. She goes to first class. Instead of waiting for a taxi, she takes the helicopter to the hotel. And the hotel is beautiful. It's in the middle of like, you know, there's snow and there's skiing and there's a spa and all this stuff. She takes the helicopter. The people who work there are like, the last person who took the helicopter was Sir Elton John. Like, she books the presidential suite. And because she does this, she starts immediately commanding a lot of attention. But also at this hotel is Timothy Hutton, is the man who owns the department store chain that she just quit from. Again, this is all coincidence. And also Giancarlo Esposito is the senator for her district who stood up her church to instead like be here. And then Brad Nuri he's just some rich guy, right? Like, I don't think he's a senator, or maybe he is. Let me see.
So that's what I'm trying to
he
figure
is.
out.
He's a congressman as well.
Oh,
so,
well, of course they're all in the middle of Czech Republic during the holidays.
Yes, exactly.
And Alicia Witt works for Timothy Hutton?
Yes, and she works for Timothy Hutton. He is married. She is his, like, someone who works at his company, and they are sleeping together.
Of course.
Of course. And by the way, she looks beautiful.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Like,
I mean, just,
yeah.
The red hair,
Yes.
just
every color
glow.
she wears, like her like beautiful skin, like, come on. Oh my God. Anyway. Yeah, so they all just happen to be there. She checks into the hotel. We get a very fun like shopping montage where she goes into like a store and she's like, "Make me international." And it could have been like a Pretty Woman situation where they're like, "You don't belong here," but those kind of things don't happen in this movie. They have like a little fun shopping montage. She puts on a whole bunch of different clothes. She looks so beautiful. And everywhere she goes in this hotel, she commands so much attention because she's kind and generous with her money, but also her attention. And as she starts to interact with people, she just calls it like she sees it. She's not lying to anybody about who she is. So she sits down to eat, and the chef is played by Gerard Depardieu. Like, he's a creep, but he is very entertaining in this movie. And
he's a good actor.
He is
that away from him.
Yeah.
I just think he's a pig.
Yeah, he is a pig. He is like a world-renowned chef, and she discovers that like every night it's a new menu. So then she orders the whole menu, and he is like blown away by this because everyone else in the restaurant's like, "Can you make this with no dairy? Can you make this with, like no butter or whatever?" Which would probably be me. I don't know. But he comes out to meet her, and he's totally charmed by her because she's also a foodie, and she is so sweet and kind and generous. And this, for whatever reason, just instantly rubs the Timothy Hutton character the wrong way because he's a whiny crybaby man who needs to be the center of attention and can't stand it.
He's a baby man.
He's a baby man. Exactly. He's a man baby. And man baby can't stand it that somebody else is getting attention and he isn't. I wouldn't eat a lot of the food in this movie because I don't eat meat. But when I did eat meat, I would have eaten all the food in this movie.
Made me very hungry. I do eat meat and dairy, and I would love everything that they're serving.
Yes, and apparently all the food in this movie was actually prepared by, I wrote it in my notes here, it's actually prepared by, like, where is it? Shit. All the food in here is made by, like, Food Network chefs who traveled with the crew to do all the cooking.
I mean, the budget for this is amazing.
Yes.
And it's like, this is like the Lifetime movies and the Netflix holiday movies. They're all great, but they don't have a budget, right?
Yeah.
So you could kind of tell. Like, this is if you actually had a budget. And they released this movie January 6th.
Yes. Like, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
They dumped this movie is what they did. They dumped it. They hid it in January. This movie should have been out in November.
Yes.
2005, and it would have been huge.
It's a date night movie.
It is.
It's it's got all the romance, but it's about loving yourself and taking risks and trusting your instincts.
Yep.
And kindness.
Yes.
All these things, and she's so charming in this movie. You just root for her.
Yes.
And everyone becomes enchanted by her just because she's so real and kind.
Yes.
And that's the message. I love they have that woman that's like I don't know. She's like she reminds me of the woman from Benson who was the cook.
I know exactly.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Inga Svensson.
Yes.
She has that thing about her, and she treats Latifah like she's like Timothy Hutton is like spying on Queen Latifah, like wants to know what her deal is. And Queen Latifah, thinking she only has a couple of weeks, writes, if she dies, she figures if I die in this hotel room and they find me, I'm basically going to write this note and say, I'm sorry, I'm dead, blah, blah, blah. And so she, of course, reads that note, and then she goes to her and goes, please don't die. So they become friends.
Yes.
Like there's a whole thing where like Timothy Hutton, like you said, he's a big baby man baby who can't handle. And so, but everybody else is like, come shopping with us, come to the thing with us, come on, let's do this with us. And she has a great time.
Yes.
She's a good time.
Yeah, he can't fucking stand not being the center of attention. Like, it's such a man baby. And like, I love that there's a whole, here we go. I love. She starts booking all the like massage treatments, all the spa day stuff. And she gets like the hot rock massage and the facial and the sound bath and all the stuff. And there's a scene where like the woman's doing that like Russian thing with like the branches where they like kind of hit you with it. I don't understand that. I've seen it in other movies and documentaries and stuff. It's like a Russian steam bath thing. I don't know. And she like takes it from her and like hits her back with it because she doesn't know that that's a thing. But like she's there like every day. And again, she starts to like win over like all these employees. They all love her because she's so sweet to them. And Alicia Witt's in there getting a massage, and she is so shitty to the woman giving her a massage. And the woman's trying to help her. She's like, you've got this big knot in your neck. And like Queen Latifah walks over and tells her, like, you don't talk to working people like that. And she's like, you have a big knot in your neck because you're going down on your boss, and he's a married man. Like calls her out. And then afterwards it cuts to like, I think a really good scene where like she's lying and she's doing her facial with the little cucumber slices. And Alicia Witt just comes over and talks to her and was like, is it that obvious? And she's like, girl, it's that obvious. And they have this really real discussion about like, she says, I've been at the company for 6 years, but nobody takes me seriously because I'm sleeping with him. Like, my career is now tied to this person. What do I do? And like Queen Latifah's so honest with her. She's like, girl, quit. Like, go back to school. Like, what are you doing? And I don't know. It's just like a fucking reality check for her that she needs, obviously. And there's a whole thing too where Alicia Witt's like, he's going to leave his husband. And she's like, girl, they never leave their husbands. And I wrote in my notes, unless you're my husband. I crack myself up. Oh, Sonia after a glass of wine, leaving a note for Sonia the podcaster.
First thing in the morning.
You know, it's just, there's these little moments in the movie that just take it just up a notch for me. And after that, like Alicia Witt is all in on Queen Latifah. You know, Timothy Hutton's acting like a total baby, and Alicia Witt, and Giancarlo Esposito, who's playing, I'm going to look up his name right here, Senator Dillings. Like, he also talks to Queen Latifah, and he is also very charmed by her. And at that point, like, they just want to be with her all the time because she's so fun. Like, they go gambling at a like charity casino night. All that stuff is so fun. She doesn't care about the money because she thinks she's going to die. And spoilers, everybody, she's not going to die.
She's not going to die.
Because meanwhile, back in, you know, at the department store, like LL Cool J is trying to figure out what happened. Why'd she quit? Like, what's her basically like, what's her diagnosis? What did you tell her to make her make all these big changes? And it starts to come out that, well, actually, he doesn't know this yet. He's like, he finds out where she is, and he's like, he's on his way. And he like gets on a plane, and all the stuff with him on the plane, and he's like sweating. Like,
he's so funny. And he gets off the plane, he kisses the ground.
It's so funny. You know, meanwhile, the like goofy doctor has finally figured out that the CT scan machine that they have at the department store, because they're so fucking cheap, is broken, and she is not going to die. So there's like a whole thing about LL Cool J's trying to get to her. Also, the doctor is trying to tell her that she's not going to die. So there's all of that. And you know pretty early on that she's not going to die. So you can sit back and enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
But her feelings are real. They're legit. I mean, she thinks she is. I love that little chat. I love that they all start to embrace her. There's all the stuff with like she goes base jumping.
Which is so cute. Because I am terrified of heights.
Yeah.
Beyond.
20-something Sonia went bungee jumping.
And what was it like?
Terrifying.
Yeah.
And when I was done, I felt so brave and I was so glad I did it. I would not do that now. No. Absolutely
I think I would throw my back
not.
out or something.
I wrote in my notes, I was like, I think she's super brave for even doing snowboarding. I was like, I wouldn't want to spend my last 3 weeks alive with a broken bone.
No.
She's so brave. And that's all that stuff is like, it shows that Queen Latifah's she's really good at physical comedy too. Like the snowboarding stuff is funny. Timothy Hutton is trying to outdo her. He can't outdo her because he sucks.
She's Queen Latifah.
Because she's Queen Latifah. Her snowboarding, even when it goes wrong, it lands great. She does the base jumping. And she's like good friends with the chef now. They go to the food market together. He has a special table for her, at the restaurant. It's all very, very
and everybody
sweet.
wants to sit with her.
Yes, everyone wants to sit with her because, and she never lies to anybody. The truth is they make a lot of assumptions about her because she appears to have a lot of money. So they just assume that she's, some rich benefactor, some stocks player. She's none of those things. She's just a good person who, she says, I clipped a lot of coupons. We also get what I think might be the saddest version of Tracks of My Tears by Smokey Robinson that makes me cry.
I love Smokey Robinson.
Yes.
And I love that song so much. And I was not expecting that. And that's really Smokey Robinson.
Yes.
It's a sad song.
It is a sad song, but
yeah.
I think that this version is even sadder and it hits me in a really soft spot in this movie. I don't know. I'm going to start crying again, so I'm not going to talk about it. Oh yeah, and then we get Miss Gunther. That's her name, Gunther. So of course her name is Miss Gunther. She's the woman who looks like she's from Benson. And she goes through Georgia's stuff, and I love it. Georgia confronts her. You went through my stuff, and she said, "Oh yeah, I go through everyone's stuff."
Yeah.
She doesn't even deny it. She's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, why?
Yeah,
fucking duh. Of course I go through their stuff." And that's when she says, please don't die. And now she's
so
even won
cute.
over.
Yes.
Everyone is won over.
And then
yeah.
LL Cool J is coming for her.
Yes.
He's hilarious. And then what point does Timothy Hutton just sits on a window ledge?
Oh, so yes. So there's an avalanche. So LL Cool J stuck on one side. Because at some point, so Miss Gunther tells Queen Latifah. I love that the other characters go by their character names, but Queen Latifah to me is Queen Latifah. So
yeah,
Gunther tells Queen Latifah, what are you doing here? You should be with people who love you if you only have this much time left. And she's like, I'm starting to think you're right. There's someone in particular I'm thinking about. And she's like, I'm going to leave. But there's an avalanche. So she's trapped on one side. She goes back to the hotel. Sean's trapped on the other. That's LL Cool J, sorry. And he just starts walking. He's walking to the hotel because he's determined. He's going to get his woman. And it's New Year's Eve. And she goes and she cooks with the chef. It's so fun. They have such a good time. She gets to live her dream cooking with a fancy chef. And she gets all dressed up and, then she has a little talk to herself in the mirror. And I wrote it down because, of course, I wrote it down. She says, next time we will laugh more. We'll love more. We just won't be so afraid.
I'm going to cry now.
I know. And again, this is why my therapist recommended this movie to me because that's me. So, Oh boy. Okay. Sorry. She goes to the New Year's Eve dinner, and that's when Timothy Hutton's like, she works at my department store and she makes $29,000. He's like a total asshole.
Dick.
And like, even like the senator's wife, who hasn't talked like the whole movie, her one line is asshole. Good job, actress. You got one. She calls him an asshole.
She got her SAG card there.
Yeah. And he says, you know, all these people listen to you because they thought you were somebody, but you're not somebody. And it's like, what a fucking prick. Like, he's such a prick. Like, somehow she doesn't count as a person because she's not
rich.
A rich power player or whatever. And she, you know, gives him the business. She says, I wasted too much of my life being quiet. I'm like, girl, same.
Mm-hmm.
And then Alicia Witt, she tells Timothy Hutton to fuck off. Like, she's like, I'm going to find Georgia. I'm going back to school. And when your wife finally leaves you, I'm going to help her figure out how much of your money she gets. And Timothy Hutton, like, again, total fucking man baby. And he's very good at playing a man baby, by the way. He like crawls out on a ledge and he's threatening to kill himself now because, you know, people aren't paying attention to him and they like Queen Latifah more. So she takes it seriously though. She gets out on the ledge with him and she talks to him.
Yes.
And that's when like, and she tells him like what's really, you know, she tells him what's going on. And that's when, that's when LL Cool J shows up and he's like yelling from the street and she's like, what are you doing here? And like, and it's so funny because the two like senators are like down on the street and they're just like, everyone's getting out on the ledge now. Like Timothy Hutton's on the ledge. Queen Latifah's on the ledge. Like at what point, like, I think Alicia Witt like pops her head out and then like Gunther's out there and then like LL Cool J shows up and they're like, maybe we should get on the ledge. Like they're missing out. And, you know, this is when the happy ending happens. Like Timothy Hutton realizes that he's a fucking prick and LL Cool J shows up and he's like, I have feelings for you. And, you know, Gunther tells her that she doesn't have this disease, that she is going to live. And then we get the world's fucking happiest ending. Like,
I mean, they go back to Louisiana, which is where she's from.
Yeah.
And they open a restaurant and it's like a glittering affair.
Yes.
And then that's when we see Emerald shows up.
Emerald shows up.
Yay!
Yeah. And she's like over the moon because Emerald is there. Honestly, I would have liked it if they could have brought back like all the characters for the opening. That would have made the ending like chef's kiss for me, but it's okay. So like Emerald shows up, you know, Gerard Depardieu's there, the mayor's there. Like clearly her restaurant is going to be a success. And then instead of her book of possibilities, we get her book of realities, and it's like her and LL Cool J are married. Alicia Witt went back to school and like runs a spa. Miss Gunther opened a detective agency. Like her shitty boss was hit by a bus. Like it's just like it's such a silly little thing, but it's like this movie's just a fucking delight and like teaches all the right things. It's fucking perfect. It's just perfect to me. It's perfect to me. I love this movie so much.
It's perfect to me too. It's exactly it hit no notes, man. I love it. I'm all in. My one thing is I wish they had released this.
Yeah.
They should have released it in October or November, like getting people psyched for the holidays.
Yes.
And you know, people love Latifah.
Yes.
They root for her. People watch Equalizer just because of her.
Yes.
I'm convinced. I mean, LL Cool J is a big star. Like yeah, it's a rom-com. And yeah, it's predictable in many ways. I don't give a fuck. So are every sports movie, about the team that's losing all season, or, the historical biographies that we see, or the music biographies. I mean, so what? If it's done well and it makes me feel something.
Yes.
Movies
like this are always dismissed because they're targeted
female-centered.
Yes, they're female-centered. They're targeted to women, and shit like that. They'll be like, it's a chick flick. Well, chick flicks have fucking value. They're great.
Chicks have value.
Yes, exactly. Like, this movie's great. The studio did it dirty by dumping it in January. Mad props to my therapist for recommending it to me, because now I recommend it to everyone. And everyone I've recommended it to falls in love with it just like I did. Like, my friend Jennifer, who also listens to the show, hi Jennifer, like, she texted me and was like, I hope you saved all your adorables for LL Cool J in this movie. Like, it was a first time watch for her as well, and she's delighted by it. And then she shared it on Facebook, and people were like, oh my god, like, I'm gonna watch this movie, and then they love it. Like, it's delightful. Watch Last Holiday. It's streaming on Paramount, but you could rent it wherever. It's so good. It's so good. I should watch the original, but I don't know if I want to. I really like this one.
I want to watch this again. Like, I can't wait to watch this again.
Yeah, I will watch it again before the end of the year, for sure. They apparently were going to originally remake this back in the 90s with John Candy. And I bet John Candy would have been really good in it too. I like this one because I like Queen Latifah. But John Candy is also one of those people that you root for. And
Absolutely.
I bet he would have been really good in it.
Yeah. Oh, I miss John Candy.
Me too. We just did an episode on JFK, and I would have loved a whole movie about the John Candy character.
Oh, Bud's gonna be on your head.
What's up, Daddy-O? I don't dig it. Do you dig it? He's in a totally different movie. So good. Do you want to hear about the other movies of 2006?
Yes, please.
Okay, we have done this one before. We've done this year before, so I went a little deeper. The Breakup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it myself.
I wonder if I would like it more now, or would I hate it more now? I can't decide.
I can't answer that.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Other movies. Nacho Libre.
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
I haven't seen this one either, but I know people love it. Maybe I should watch it. I do love Jack Black. Superman Returns.
Is that with Henry?
No, it's with Brandon Routh. Yes.
Yeah, he wasn't my favorite.
No, it's not very good. Little Miss Sunshine.
I like that movie.
Me too.
Fine, but I'm not like, when people want to watch it over and over again, I'm like, it's a real bummer.
Oh no, I don't want to watch it over and over again. But I do like it, and it did. I think people liked it at the time, and then like 2 years later, they
were shitting on it.
They were shitting on it, and I was like, you liked it 2 years ago. Just FYI. So there were two movies that were basically the same that came out in 2006: The Illusionist.
Oh yes.
And The Prestige.
Yes, I've seen both.
I also saw both, and I remember liking The Illusionist more, but maybe that's because I liked Edward Norton so much.
Yeah.
Did you have a preference between them?
I think The Prestige.
Yeah, I think that's the one people tend to like more. Snakes on a Plane.
I don't want none of these motherfucking snakes on my motherfucking plane.
That movie is exactly what it's supposed to be. So if you want to see Snakes on a Plane, that's your movie. I just saw this movie for the first time recently, Marie Antoinette.
It's great, isn't it?
It is. It's really good. It looks so good. It looks great. Kirsten Dunst is so great in it. Two more movies. Borat. My wife. I laughed so hard I cried the first time I saw Borat. And then Casino Royale.
I love Casino Royale.
Oh my God, it's so good. Daniel Craig. In Casino Royale. Yep.
Him and those swim trunks, man. That is spank bank material.
And here's where the podcast starts to get thirsty. So thirsty. So horny.
Speaking of horny, do you want to hear what was the top 10 songs? There's some interesting ones here.
Yes.
The week ending January 14th, 2006. That's like the closest to it. Okay, so number 10. Sorry. Oh, check on it, Beyonce.
Ooh, I love Beyonce.
We do. Number 9, Fall Out Boy, Dance Dance.
I don't know if I know. I bet if I heard it, I'm like, oh yeah, that song.
I'm sure if I heard it, yeah. The Pussycat Dolls, Stick With You.
Wait, what was that again, Margot?
It just says, it's all one word, Stick With You. WITU. With stick in front of it. Sorry. That's just assuming that's how it's pronounced.
Okay, sure.
Mariah Carey, Don't Forget About Us.
Okay, that one I do know. Yes.
You'll know this one. The Black Eyed Peas, My Humps.
You couldn't get away from that song.
No.
Her Lovely Lady Lumps.
Number 5, Nelly featuring Paul Wall, Allie, and Gipp. Grills.
I don't know that song.
I don't know.
I don't understand one thing you said in that sentence.
I know. I do know this one. Number 4, Kanye West featuring Jamie Foxx, Gold Digger.
Oh, yeah. That song's great.
Kanye's an asshole, but that song is fucking dope.
Exactly. That's the perfect way to say that. Yes.
Number 3, Nickelback, Photograph.
Look at this photograph. That's my Nickelback. You're all welcome. You're welcome.
Number 2, talking about assholes. Chris Brown, Run It. I don't listen to Chris Brown. I cannot.
That song.
Team Rihanna to the end.
That song and Forever are very catchy. He sucks.
He's an abusive shithead.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll get to him on What a Creep someday.
Yeah. And then number 1 song, I have no idea. D for L, Laffy Taffy.
You said a bunch of words there. I don't even know that song.
I'm so goddamn white. I have no idea. I was gonna. Sometimes I listen to them. You know, if it's around, but I was like, I just don't even know what that is. I'm sorry.
It's hilarious. I have no idea what that song is. Yeah, no, I got nothing. What else are you dorking out about, my friend?
I actually bought Killers of the Flower Moon off Apple because it's like you rent it for $20 for 2 days, or you own it forever for $24 or $25. So it's like, well, fuck it, I might as well own it.
Yeah.
We talked about the subject for What a Creep.
Yeah.
And someone told me it was meandering, my reading of it. I'm sorry for that person not enjoying it.
I disagree, but okay.
This movie, it's a great movie. It's got great performances. It's also problematic as fuck as far as how we center. It's the storytelling. And when I was doing the storytelling, in my defense, I was trying to make the Osage people, and specifically Molly, the center of the story.
Okay,
and
I see where you're going here. Okay.
Yeah, so I was telling it from there, trying to, as best I could, tell it how they would tell the story.
Yeah.
Versus a filmmaker who is one of my favorites, though sometimes he makes things I can't watch again, or he swings for the fences, let's just say. It's a 3.5-hour movie. Mm-hmm. Some people, when the movie first came out, they were like, oh, it could be 4 hours. You don't even need an intermission. But I'm like, no, you need an intermission. There's a lot happening
here. Come on. Can we have intermissions so that we can go pee? Like, please?
Am I the only one that has to pee?
No, everyone does.
I mean, they do it for Broadway. Like an hour in, they're like, all right, go stretch your legs for a minute, you know? And there's a lot that's going on here. The way, spoiler, he ends the story is he does a radio play. and it's supposed to take place a few years after Molly, spoiler, dies.
Yeah.
And the acting is, everyone said it, and it's true. The acting is spectacular throughout, but making Leonardo DiCaprio's Ernest be just kind of like, he's so dumb, he doesn't really know what he's doing, and he's conflicted, and I don't buy that, and that's what I was trying to come across.
Yes.
That's what I came across. But anyway, it ends with this radio play talking about the murders, and then at the spoiler,
Yes.
Martin Scorsese himself comes out and delivers the last lines into the camera, which is a nod to saying, yes, I'm a white man telling the story. And Jack White, of all people, who I love, but he's like a radio actor in there as well. I mean, it's something that I was like, it went. I think
I'm so interested in this.
It's intriguing. I will watch this. I'm going to watch this a couple of more times.
Okay.
I'm going from having read the book, having like done a research on all the topic, and then I watch it, and there's stuff that they include. I'm glad they included. It's got a lot of gratuitous and violence, and like that's what Scorsese does.
Yeah.
Somebody gets shot, they get shot. You know, their bodies just go limp.
Yeah,
and it's done.
gruesome. It's gruesome.
It's gruesome. And that's hard for people to take. And you're talking about, they always talk about, there was like 60 people that were missing. It's like, it's way more than that.
Yeah.
It's way, way more than that. And there were kids. It's a really horrible time in American history. We don't talk about it enough.
Yeah.
We also there's not enough space given to the people whose lives were directly affected by it.
Yes, and this is what you're trying to say. When we did our episode of What a Creep About It, Margot was telling it from, I guess, for lack of a better word, the victim's perspective. You were telling it not from like the
law.
Yes.
The FBI.
Yes.
Or a historian. I'm not a historian.
Correct.
Like if you check my DNA, I am like 98% Cork County peasant stuff. I mean,
so it sounds like this movie is told from the perspective of the white people involved.
Yes.
Okay.
It does make attempts, and it's a lot better than it has been, but that doesn't mean a lot. I mean, when we grow up with movies that made their money on cowboys and Indians tropes, and I was listening to another NPR podcast, and it was in Pop Culture Happy Hour, but it was because during the Thanksgiving break, so they actually put in another show in that feed, and you could find it, and it was a group of Native Americans talking about it and how disappointed they were in the film because they felt like
interesting.
They said, we're treated as objects. We're people, and we're treated as exotic objects. And they're not sure that this movie changes that.
Interesting.
But he's trying to get, and I know trying to tell the story myself in under an hour, it's very hard to get all that history.
Yeah.
All that's going on. But, so I recommend people watch it. The violence is rough. You know, I remember the first time I saw Goodfellas in a movie theater, I almost threw up. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, he's not afraid to for him, that's really important to show. But just to see, is it Lily Gladstone? I'm sorry, I'm popping S. Because I keep calling her Molly in my head because that's the character she plays. She's beautiful. She's brilliant. I give Leonardo DiCaprio credit for not, and I don't want to sound like an insult, but not Botoxing the shit out of his face. Like, he has a lot of emotion that he can show. De Niro's great always. Now that I know what an asshole boss he is, it's kind of hard for me to watch him. Like, I think he's not really acting. And Brendan Fraser's doing a thing.
Okay.
That little foghorn leghorn.
Oh, I say.
I'll keep this feathers numbered just for such occasions. It's a little goofy.
Yeah.
Is there some parts? I'm saying a lot. Once again, it's a 3.5-hour film, and it's about a 50-year period of time where it was genocide.
Yeah.
And it was sanctioned by the government.
Yeah.
The government that we pay taxes to, that we are supposed to respect over everything else. It's a tough one.
Okay.
So anyway, All right. So let me dive from that. Go to Dolly Parton's Christmas on the Square.
Yeah, I bumped this up my list.
We talked about it for Book versus Movie.
Yeah.
Margot said it great. She goes, because the week before we talked about Bell, Book, and Candle, which has like a hint of Christmas.
Yes.
That
movie's delightful. It's delightful.
It's delightful. And it's Jimmy Stewart and it's Kim Novak, and they're gorgeous and adorable. Everybody drink. But anyway, Christmas on the Square is Christine Baranski, Treat Williams,
love
Dolly Parton, Jennifer Lewis. Debbie Allen is the director and choreographer. So there's backflips aplenty. It's a musical.
They are all paying in sweat.
They are paying in sweat. This is Christmas that'll knock your dick in the dirt. Like, this is Christmas, all caps.
Oh my gosh, you're so funny.
And Dolly Parton is, has the #1 album right now.
Such a treasure.
And Brenda Lee is the #1 single. Like, Southern women are having a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm all for it. And you just need the distraction. It's on Netflix. It just goes down easy.
Nice.
Okay. All right. Quickly, Margot. Okay. I tried to watch Leave the World Behind. Halfway through I gave up, but
oh my God, I did the same thing. I am going to finish it. I am.
I'll finish it.
I will finish it. I was just really tired, and so it's no offense to the movie, but it was starting to make me. I was like, I don't know if I like where this is going, and I was like, and it's time for bed. Yes, exactly.
It has Julia Roberts and Ethan
Hawke and Mahershala Ali. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's got people I like, but here's my quick story. I worked at Dan Flores, and I worked for Marcy Engelman, who was, I think she still is, Julia Roberts' publicist.
Mm-hmm.
And people were telling me a time that Julia Roberts was married to Lyle Lovett, but she was caught dancing with Ethan Hawke at a club.
Oh.
And all the gossips were on Twitter about it.
Mm.
And Marcy was walking around the office going, what am I going to do? Oh my God. Anyway, so I'm like, I was going to tell you, years later, they're in a movie together.
Julia Roberts was living here in San Francisco for a while. Apparently, they just put their house up and they're moving or something. But they were living in the Presidio, and my friend was living in the Presidio, and she said that by all accounts, people were like, "She's lovely."
Yeah,
like everyone who met her said she was lovely. I'm like, that's great, good for her.
She have a lot of homes.
Yeah. I don't know why they were here, to be honest. Maybe they were just looking for some quiet, hiding from the paparazzi or whatever. But apparently, they were lovely. So good for them.
No, absolutely. She's got good manners. She used to, for DK, Dan Flores, you had to call the main office number and then they would patch the call to you. Nobody had direct lines. It was really annoying. And Fabienne answered the phone, and Julia would call for her publicist, and Fabienne was like, I just love Julia. She's always so nice.
Aww.
So I'm saying nice things. Okay. FX, Fargo, enjoying it. Not sure I understand what the hell's going on, but that's okay.
You know, it's so funny. They're I always love this show. Although I did bail on the Chris Rock season, and maybe I should go back. But there are a couple of different storylines going on. And there's one storyline where I was like, I don't understand what's happening here. And maybe we're not supposed to understand what's happening there with the weird man who's in the old lady's house. And he's I don't know what that is. But Juno Temple is fucking great.
What can't she do?
Yeah, seriously.
Honest to God, I love everything she's in.
Yes, she's so good in this. And Jennifer Jason Leigh is doing a thing, and she's very good at doing that thing. And I love seeing Joe Carey, I think is his name, from Stranger Things, playing a very different part. He's very good, and John Hamm, John Hamm's very good at playing a prick.
Let's just say.
Yeah. Exactly. So I'm really enjoying it. But much like you, I also am like, I don't know if I'm getting it, but that's okay. That's okay.
I can always go to, I wind up at the Wikipedia page, and that usually helps me out.
Yeah. Vulture recaps help me out a lot.
Yeah. I don't know if I talked about this before, but there's a guy, and I don't know his name, but his handle is Chef Reactions. And he's a guy that just reacts to cooking videos on Twitter and TikTok.
Yes.
And he's funny as shit.
Yes.
And he does like a score, 1 out of 10
Yes.
presentation, and then whether or not he would eat it.
Yes.
And he does the beautiful stuff. And then I know some people are just faking their bullshit, but people stop putting meat in a pan with some water and some dry pasta and putting in the oven. That is just disgusting. That is making me like generations cooking this way. It's just marron. I'm going to watch tonight the Milli Vanilli documentary. That's on
I
Paramount
watched that.
Plus. Was it good?
Yeah, it is really good. And I learned so much from that. Like, I've seen the behind the music and all that, but I learned so much from this. It's really, really well done. And I really like where, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. They're the surviving member of Milli Vanilli.
Yeah.
Milli Vanilli. He does some singing at the end, and I was like, oh my God, he sounds so great.
I liked that album. I liked that music.
That album was everywhere. I know like Milli Vanilli's a joke, but like that album really was everywhere. Like,
yeah, it was popular. It was fun.
Yes. And you could
They were
dance
handsome
to
as
it.
hell.
And they're very handsome. Yes, it's really good. I'm glad you're going to check that one out.
Yeah, that's for tonight. And then quickly, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. They're in Bermuda.
Yes.
Where Monica, the thief, and it's hilarious because she's bragging about her colonizer family that went there.
Oh my gosh.
To build the place.
They're so
problematic and weird.
I know.
And I'm loving it.
I texted you because I was like, I actually, the show's so weird because like my allegiance to people swings all over the place with every episode.
It's like wrestling.
Yes.
It's just like professional wrestling.
Yes.
And
I was
a
like,
villain one year and then an asshole the next year.
And I was like, y'all making me feel bad for Meredith. Like poor Meredith, like is not feeling well. The one thing she asked for, she's like, can I have a room with a tub? It seems like every room in this house has a tub except for one, and they stick her with the one room that doesn't have a tub. And she's all bent out of shape about it and being such a drama queen. But also, I was like, she's sick, you guys. Like,
I was not as empathetic.
I know you were. You were like, fuck her.
Fuck her. She was taking benzos and fell asleep on the plane. And she needs to be more than just the bath lady for my attention.
Yeah, you're like,
child.
That's not your personality, Meredith.
No, it's not your personality, Meredith. I mean, I get it as a human being. Like, I would have easily, because I don't take baths normally. I'm a shower gal, but I do like to take baths when I'm on holiday. It is like my thing. Yeah.
Well, also, like she was clearly like her temperature was like all off, her body temperature, and like I'm sure a bath would have been really helpful. So I felt sorry for her, but also I was like, whatever, they're all bitches.
It's a housewife trip that it's all paid for.
Yeah.
You never have to pick up a check. You never have to tip anybody. So I know that's the cold-hearted part of me. You know what I did love? I love that she had her makeup done while she's laying down.
Oh my God. Okay. Meredith with an IV drip.
Yes.
Getting her glam.
Why do I get one of those?
Is like it's such a thing on Real Housewives. They're always getting IV drips. Probably because they all drink so much. And then but she's still like getting her glam with her IV. And I was like, do they hand out Emmys for stuff like this? Because they probably should.
This is, and going back to Julia Roberts, apparently she likes to have her makeup done while she's lying down.
Oh.
She thinks it looks better. Yeah, she has people put on her makeup that way. So that's a Julia Roberts tip.
I have to put on my own. So,
I don't have anybody glamming me up. You could tell.
No,
but
you look great.
It was. Thank you. It's just hilarious. It's just silly. It's all over the place. And
yeah, they're all just bitches. They just fight all the time. And Heather in particular fucking just stirs it up. She just stirs it up at like every gathering and then is shocked when everybody fights. And I was like, bitch, you purposely asked the questions that got everybody stirred up. And then she's shocked that there's gambling happening in this establishment. To quote Casablanca, she's such a shit stir. It's so entertaining.
And speaking of entertaining, Watch What Crappens. They do a podcast on Bravo shows, and when they reenact these episodes, it's Opa. Like they talk about Angie and her. I've been saying Opa like them for 2 weeks.
I love that for you.
I love that. It's so great. It's wonderful.
It is. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City was on my list as well. And I was going to mention the Great British Baking Show's holiday episodes have dropped.
Haven't. I'm going to watch that. Is it good?
It is. So I went right to the second one because the second one has passed. The first one is like stars from like Channel 4 or something and participating, and I was like, I'm not going to know who any of those people are, and that's fine, and I will watch that one. But I went right to the second one because it was like such a great lineup. It was Chigs from like maybe 2 seasons ago, Anthony, who is a fucking delight, Lottie, the most sarcastic Great British Baker they've ever had, and then Manon, who's French and is like very, very detailed. And this one made me, I laughed out loud multiple times. Usually I watch the show and like I love it and like I'm comforted by it and you root for them. But this one, like I literally laughed out loud. Like they could put Lottie and Anthony on a cooking show together and I would watch the shit out of that. It is so entertaining. Highly recommend. It's on Netflix right now. And if you want more of those kinds of episodes, the Roku channel has a whole bunch of them right now. All the like celebrity holiday ones that they've done. But that was Real Housewives and Great British Baking Show were the things on my list because I was mostly learning and reading about the Motion Picture Rating Association this week because that if you like the sound of our voices, we also co-host a podcast called What a Creep. And this most recent episode is all about the rating system for movies. And so I was kind of like reading about that a lot this week. So I didn't get to watch as much stuff as I normally do. But you should go listen to that because I think it was a fun one.
It was a really fun one.
Where can people find you on the internet, Margot?
I'm at Brooklyn Fit Chick. That's my site. I'm that for Threads and Instagram and Twitter, as long as that exists. Blue Sky, which I need to get more on. I'm a moron on Twitter. On Blue Sky. I'm trying to build up my Blue Sky, so look for me there at Brooklyn Margot. And that's also me on the TikTok, Brooklyn Margot. And I'll put some stuff from last holiday up there as well because people need to see this movie. It's fucking amazing.
It is. I'm going to be singing its praises as I always do. You can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, Facebook, TikTok. I'm like Visa, wherever you want to be. Like you'll find me there. Oh, and Dorking Out, please. Like, the show we're actually on right now. Email us at dorkingoutshow@gmail.com. Give us your address. We'll send you some stickers. They're adorable. Everybody drink. And we take requests. So if you have, like, especially if you have some holiday movies that you super love, send them our way because we'll talk about them. And you can find Dorking Out Show wherever you listen to your podcasts. You're listening right now. And we have a website, dorkingoutshow.com. And we're on all the channels as well. Thanks for talking about one of my favorite holiday movies with me, my friend. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, my friend, and thank you for recommending it to me. Who you calling a bitch?